radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Today's Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer, and UNX Networks. Race Hobbs. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? All right. It's Halloween weeks. From here to the 31st. Tonight we have very special guest continuing. Mike Ricksecker is here for Halloween Night 2. Tomorrow night's another Fader night with open lines all night long. Looking forward to that. It's going to be all Egypt tomorrow night. I can feel that one coming. I can. All right. Oh, man. I'm in a great mood. I started to get my sea legs back. Man, that jet lag's no joke. And then, to combine that with allergies, it was just, man. But today I'm kind of over everything. And the allergies are lingering, but I feel great. Got my hair cut today too, so I look great. Yeah, I got to tape a TV show this weekend. I had to get trimmed up. I was looking a little sheppy, little shaggy. Yeah, there's Ken Priest. Ken Priest coming in strong. What's going on, brother? That's right over there on Twitter. You can follow us in the sandbox, hashtag F2B, and you can check out Ken Priest, celebrity over there. Cassandra, another celebrity. X, Pendleton, the man. Go hang out. The sandbox is amazing. Hashtag F2B. Coming up, I will be hosting the Conscious Life Expo this February 10th through the 13th at the LAX Hilton. And I'll be doing all of my normal stuff. I'm going to host what did we call it? We call it the Ancient Secrets panel. I think, do that on Friday night, the big event on Friday night. And Saturday night, though, it's just so near and dear to my heart now, is the talent show. And hosting that, this will be I think this is like my third year. I think this will be the fourth. Hosting that. It's such a special thing. So we'll see you there. But it's going to be great. Go to the talent show. That's worth the price of admission right there. ConsciousLifeExpo.com. Now, this special event is coming up April 1st, 2023. Saturday, April 1st, 2023. I will be hosting the Parapod Festival at the Hyatt Regency in Valencia, California. This is a live one-day awards ceremony, podcast awards, film festival, media event. One day, huge event. And now you can submit. Do you have a podcast? Do you have a TV series? Maybe something you've done on YouTube? Something that is broadcast? What do you have? Submit your documentary. Submit right now. You can go to parapodfilmfest.com. The links are below. Get your submissions in. Get them in now, because this is an award ceremony. All right? It's going to be awesome. One-day event in Valencia, California. And then a week later, April 7th through the 14th, 2023, I will be hosting and presenting on the Hidden Secrets Seminar at Sea Cruise. And the links for that are below. Go on a cruise with me. Come and hang out with us. We're going to go down to Mexico and back to Los Angeles, April 7th through the 14th. Links are below. And there you go. Now, for the rest of the month, it's all Halloween. It's all Halloween from here on out. I'm bringing on a bunch of my friends and host over at the X for the rest of the month, talking about the paranormal, the supernatural, Halloween. Leading up to Halloween, October 31st, Monday night, is the 1-year anniversary special event for the X. And we've got a lot of very special things planned for that show. And we are it's going to originate here from the bunker. Got Race Hobbs. I've got Margie K. Bunch of special guests. We're going to be doing some ghost hunting, everything live. And that's going to be Halloween night, October 31st. That's a Monday. All right. Now, where am I at? The links for everything below. Just click. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. No, Jimmy, I'm not the celebrity Sarah Ann is. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. There's Stephen O. And there's Olivia. I saw Olivia. Olivia sat in front of me at the James Fox movie premiere. She comes in sporting her fade to black shirt. Just comes strolling in, sat right in front of me. I said, Olivia, what's going on? It's great to see her. There you are. I see you, Olivia, in the sandbox. All right. Where am I at? Sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. Let's get to the breaking news. Crazy. Officials in Alaska have canceled this year's snow crab fishing season in the Bering Sea, citing extremely low population levels. The move is a blow to the state's crab industry, a major part of Alaska's economy and global source of seafood, and comes after a massive and unexplained crash in the crab population. State officials said that about 1 billion crabs have just disappeared from the frigid northern waters of the Bering Sea. 2 billion in the past 2 years. It's a drastic and somewhat mysterious drop in the crab population. In addition to the Bering Sea snow crab season, the department also shut down the blue king crab season around St. Matthew Island, the red and blue king crab season in Pre-Billif, and the red king crab season in Bristol Bay. Lots of theories about what is going on here. But the main thought is that the crabs just move further north into colder waters, and they have left where they have been historically been living for hundreds of years. So is this climate change? Don't know. They're just gone. Incredible. A new analysis. Now, check this out. I've got a lot of space news here. A new analysis of more than 1,500 supernova have put fresh precision on measurements of the dark matter and dark energy, more on that in just a minute, that permeate our universe. According to the research, about 2/3 of the cosmos, 66%, is made up of dark energy, and the remaining third, 33%, is made up of matter. Almost all of the matter is called dark, meaning we can't actually see it. We don't know what it is because we can't measure it. We don't know what's going on. We just know that there's some gravitational effects. The regular matter we can touch and see makes up less than 5% of the universe. The team's analysis, called Pantheon Plus, was published today in the Astrophysical Journal. Now, astronomers have spotted a bright blast of energy light that may be the most powerful cosmic explosion ever detected. The high-energy mission known as a gamma ray burst, the most powerful type of explosion seen in our universe since the Big Bang, likely represents the moment a dying star collapsed into a black hole, triggering a tremendous supernova explosion. The incredible blast, officially dubbed GRB 221009A, was first spotted by gamma ray and X-ray telescopes, including NASA's Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope and the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory on October 9th. The initial detection sent teams of astronomers around the world scrambling to observe the aftermath of the cosmic explosion, resulting in several additional detections over the following days. Astronomers have since given the burst the affectionate nickname, the Boat, standing for the brightest of all time, by a factor of, check this, by at least 10. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. Let's get this show cracking. On this day in history, sad day actually, 1982, John DeLorean is arrested and charged with conspiracy to obtain and distribute 55 pounds of cocaine. He was later acquitted of the drug charges in August of 1984. I'll never forget watching the video. This was a sting operation. This was a setup. This was a bust. And watching this go down, and I think, what's his name? The boxing promoter, the dude with the hair. Can't think of his name right now. He was there too. It was like crazy town. Couldn't believe that video. And turned out to be a setup. But that wasn't the end of his legal troubles and DeLorean and the car company and everything else. Lots of documentaries made on it. But I was fascinated with the car. I had a friend that owned one, drove it. And I'm a big car guy. And watching him go down like that, it just wasn't right. But it did happen on this day in 1982. All right. Fader fact. I vetted this fader fact today. And yeah, okay. Are you ready? King Henry VIII of England had servants called, quote, grooms of stool, end quote. I'll just leave that right there. You go and check it out for yourself. I'm going to leave the description of that off of the air. There are children listening. Yeah, Don King. Don King. Thank you for that, Donnie Douglas. Ken Priest coming in strong. The dude with the hair. There's Sarah Ann. Sarah Ann is a rock star, apparently. Okay, there you go. All right, Ken Priest. Man, Ken, you got to stop with the food, man. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's crab. It's butter. Nice. All right. Where am I at? What am I doing? Tonight, very special guest, Mike Ricksecker is here. It's Halloween night 2. And Mike is a show host. He's an author. He's a media mogul. And he's out there getting it done. And he's also a host over here on the X. And tonight is Halloween night 2 with Mike Ricksecker. We're going to be talking about, well, I kind of call the show Halloween Shadow People. Yeah. I kind of dig it. It's going to be a good show tonight. Tomorrow night's another fader night with open lines all night long. All right, now it's time for me to hit this River Moon coffee. You know what I did before the show tonight? River Moon just sent me, I'm guessing it's a 5-pound bag. It might be 10. I don't know. It's like this tall, this wide, like this big bag. And, I've got these canisters in my little coffee corner and needed to refill it. So I had to open up I put this bag down and I see it, boom, plop. And I open it up and I was literally pouring coffee like this with the bag, 10-pound bag. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Get your own right now. Go to the website, rivermoonwellness.com, and use the promo code F2BBlend. And you can also go to the Amazon store, Fade to Black Blends right there. And if you're a Prime member, you get free shipping. So there you go. All right. All right. So, what do we know? Think about that question. What do we know? Well, we know a lot, actually. We figured some things out, like, you're getting sick. We find out, we develop microscopes and we figure out viruses, things like that, right? Got that figured out. Penicillin, good move. We got that figured out. We know a lot, actually. But the real stuff, the basics, the simple things, we don't know nothing. We don't. And I often wonder, I talk about this a lot, but I often wonder, here we have the ability to look up to the stars and think about the universe and what's out there, right? We can see it. Do dogs think about that stuff? Dolphins, very smart, right? Whales, very smart. But they can't see space. They don't have the opportunity to ponder that. Their universe is the oceans, water, right? And so they don't have that opportunity. We do. And so we know a lot and we are able to think about things, but we really don't know nothing. The basic stuff. And when I say the basics, really the simple things. Things like, God, I've got such a demented mind. But things like, I was just talking about dark matter and dark energy, right? And the latest news. And you read the headlines. The news was presented to me today by Renee, and I had already thought about and started writing what I was going to do today about us not knowing anything. And then I get and what that was going to be about. I get the news in from Renee, and it said exactly what I'm talking about right now. Okay, so dark matter, dark energy, 66%, 5% matter. But actually, we don't know what it is. We can't see it. We can't tell it. We don't know. We don't know anything about it. That's exactly my point. The very basic of the basics. We honestly don't know what makes up the vast majority of the universe. We have no idea. And because of that, we go, let's call it dark matter. That's it. It's the end of the discussion. We don't know anything about it. We don't know let's just call it dark matter and call it a day. It's crazy. We know that our universe is expanding. We know this. It's faster and faster, right? But we don't know the force behind it or why. So we call it dark energy. End of story. Well, what is it? It's dark energy. Well, how's that? Don't know. Can you see it? Nope. Can you measure? Nah, not really. What's up? Well, it's dark energy, man. And that's it. They just leave it right there because we don't know. Now, check this out. Let me explain it to you like this. Let's say I gotta recline my chair. I'm getting fired up. Let's say you go out in your backyard, all right? And you pick up something. You pick up a ball. I don't have a ball in here. But you pick up a ball and you throw it. You know what's going to happen. You know that it's going to go up, it's going to slow down, it's going to lose speed, and it's going to come back to Earth. It's going to hit the ground. Simple, right? We all know this. Now, imagine this. Let's say you take the same ball. You go out in your backyard and you throw it again. But this time, it just keeps going up. Faster and faster. Disappearing in the sky. And just continues blazing through space. Eventually, it's faster than the speed of light, and it goes on forever. Now, put that in your mind. Gone. Now, if this actually happened, and we could do that, I think that we would try to find out what the heck is going on. Right? Because that would be pretty cool. And we would want answers. We would try to figure it out. Well, that's exactly what is going on with our universe right now. It's expanding. It's going. We don't know why. We don't know what's causing it. The opposite is what we thought was happening with the universe. My first scenario. You take a ball in the backyard, you throw it, it slows down, gravity takes over, it hits the dirt. We thought that that's what was going on with the universe, that gravity was going to take over, right? The Big Bang, and it was going to expand. Just like the ball in your backyard, it's going to slow down. Gravity's going to take over and bring it all back, right? That's not what's happening. The universe is just whoosh, and is continuing faster and faster. Just imagine if that's what was happening with the ball in the backyard. We would try to figure that out. We don't know. We don't have a clue. We don't know what the force is. The force is literally making things go so fast that it is exceeding the speed of light. It's as if the galaxies on the edge of everything are dropping off the edge of a cliff and disappearing. And we don't know why. And it's also the same thing with the quantum. The very small, the smallest of the small, the basics of the basics, where everything starts. Honestly, we just don't know what's going on. The basics of the basics. We just don't have any idea. Sure, we can guess, we can theorize, we can ponder, but we can't see any of it. The math gets wonky if you push it too far. And for us, we know it's there. We know it's happening. We know particles are doing amazing things, but we just don't know why or how. But I have the answer. I know who does. Seriously. Mother Nature. That's right. Nature. Nature understands the quantum perfectly. Everything just knows what to do. From the smallest of particles, it all just works. Smallest of particles, spiraling out from table and chair to cats and dogs to planets and stars to the galaxies and the universe. Nature has it all figured out. Nature knows what's going on. We don't. Think about it. We don't know nothing. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. It's all Halloween for the rest of the month. Every single night. Tonight is Halloween night 2. Our guest is Mike Ricksecker. We're going to be talking about shadow people and the paranormal, the supernatural, his research, what's going on. He's an author. He's a show host. He's got a grip. I love it when Mike is with us. Tomorrow night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. It's going to be a great night, great conversation. Stay right there. I'll be back after this short break. And don't forget, we know nothing. I'll be right back.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my Thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The EdenPURE Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an EdenPURE Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the UNXNetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the UNXNetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UNX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time. It's new. It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church
All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your Jimmy Church on the Game Changer and UNX Networks. It's Halloween for the rest of the month, all the way up to Halloween 9th and 31st. For the X anniversary special event we're doing right here from the bunker, Halloween night. Tonight, Mike Ricksecker is with us. Night 2 of our 2 weeks of Halloween. And he's a paranormal researcher. He is the author of the best-selling book, A Walk in the Shadows, a complete guide to shadow people and the historic paranormal books, Ghost of Maryland, Ghost and Legends of Oklahoma, Campfire Tales of the Midwest, Ghostorian Case Files, and the Encounters with the Paranormal series. He's appeared on multiple television shows and programs and paranormal as a paranormal historian, including Travel Channel's The Alaska Triangle, Discovery Plus's Fright Club, Animal Planet's The Haunted, Bio Channel's My Ghost Story, Ren TV's, that's in Russia, by the way, Mysteries of Mankind. He produces his own paranormal shows. And, of course, he currently hosts Connecting the Universe on Friday nights right here on KUNX, The X. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black the one and only Mike Ricksecker. Mike.
Jimmy. Hi. How you doing tonight?
Happy Halloween. What's great about having you on the show is I think our community needs to have an NSA special secret agent, infiltrating the community and coming in here and spreading, his propaganda. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Man in Black. Right. Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, you got that going for you.
Got that.
But welcome back, my friend. It's good to see you and good to hear your voice.
Yeah, likewise.
And happy Halloween. But before we get started, we were talking before the show tonight about Egypt, and then this popped up in the chat like 15 minutes ago. But here you go. This is. I got to go to Egypt, right? And great.
We have a tour in February, Stargates of Ancient Egypt. Come on along.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Now, here's the thing, and everybody go. Mike's links are below, and you can check out his tour. Here's the deal: we've all. Do our research. We're all fascinated. King Tut's golden, and there's just things that have attracted all of us, the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, the wonders of Egypt, and you just get enveloped in it. And you did the same thing. But what were your expectations when you got to Egypt and started to experience it? What happened? I mean, how did you feel? Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, it's funny, Jimmy, because I went into that Egypt tour expecting to be blown away. And honestly, it blew away those expectations. So It was like doubly being blown away. Yeah, it's a magical place. We talked about that before the show. You're stepping and walking where the ancients walked. You're climbing through the pyramids, in and out of these, different shafts. We talked about the bent pyramid and how that was a little bit of a challenge, but you feel that energy. We were there last year in the Great Pyramid on the summer solstice, which was the renewal of the Kepler cycle, and feeling the energy, because just our little group had 2 hours to ourselves inside the Great Pyramid, and you could absolutely feel it. But then, you're taking a look around, and we've heard a lot of the different alternative theories to the timeline and some of the different secrets and things like that. And there's a lot of great research that's been done on that. You can watch documentaries, read books. And when you look around, you see a lot of that stuff, but then there's more that you're seeing and learning and experiencing that other people haven't mentioned yet. And you're like, oh, there's something. Oh, there's something.
Right.
It's amazing.
It's endless. It's like everywhere you look, every minute of the day is something, and it's so cinematic. But what surprised you the most? What was the one thing? I'm still processing all of it. But looking back, what was the one thing that's that you weren't expecting?
Well, I already mentioned the Great Pyramid, and there was something about the coffer in there that I got a good glimpse at. That even our tour guide Mohammed Ibrahim, who's he's been
great.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. That he's looking at my observation. He's like, I never noticed that before. So it's like little things like that, or the vitrification at the back of the niche within the Queen's chamber. But, it really, for me, it was a lot with the different temples, like the how blue the ceilings of Dendera are. Oh my gosh, could they seriously get it that blue thousands of years ago and it's still there? I mean, things, little things like that, or, taking a look at Abydos and how important that site must have been for, sure, we talk about the hieroglyphs that, may show different things like, a helicopter,
Technology.
technology. But as you venture inside, you see different chambers that are labeled as stargates. You see one of the most massive king's lists on record. You go into chambers that have these light shafts that you just stand under and you can actually catch the light with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then back behind behind Seti's temple is the Osirion, which is something that's even far more ancient, and people really don't even have an idea as to what that is, except there's another secret waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, what's funny about the Osirion is they call it Seti the First because Seti the First's temple is over here, but it's like 100 feet above it, right? And no, it's not. It's just simply not. And you can see the earth, the aging, right? That the Osirion is probably thousands of years older than the Temple of Seti the First. And now I wanted to say that this is two things not related to temples or anything. The two things that blew me away that I wasn't expecting, and people really don't talk about. The first thing is the size of Cairo. Was not expecting it. Was not with no. And it's the biggest city in the world. And it's the oldest, right? It's 5,000 years old. And it is so big when you're flying over it and you just go and you're looking at the window, you're like, is this going to end? And you experience, I was not prepared for it. It was wonderful, but I was not prepared for that. And the second thing that people just don't talk about, and I'm going to be very vocal about this for a very long time, is how nice, humble, and happy the people are. Everybody is smiling. Everybody, the police, the army, the bus drivers, everybody that you encounter there is happy.
Yeah, so hospitable.
It's an incredible experience. You come back to the United States, and you're dealing with this attitude. You're like, man, this place sucks, man. and Egypt has had 5,000 years to figure out what it is to be a human being and how to treat other people. And it was something that I didn't expect. It made the whole trip so exceptional. The people of Egypt are just beautiful.
They're so welcoming. It's amazing. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. And here's okay. Let's stay on Egypt for a second.
Sure.
You brought up Dendera and the blue ceilings. Yes, correct. Mind blowing. But the temple is so big, and then when you step back, and I don't know how many pillars are in there. I don't know how many columns and rows and everything. Every square inch of every surface in that temple is inscribed and carved.
Yeah.
Floor to ceiling,
everything. Yeah.
And it's so big, somewhat 5 stories tall, 50-foot pillars. And you just look, and think about that. How special and that's dedicated to the divine feminine. It's a feminine temple.
Yeah, it's a temple of Hathor. Yeah.
Yeah, temple of Hathor. And the importance of it, it's the symbology, you get that, but you also get the spirituality part of it, and how special of a temple that was, or that it was to them at that time, and to have it so well preserved. It is just stunningly beautiful. Man.
Yeah, and the craftsmanship that would have gone into that. Another thing that shocked me about the temples is how you mentioned the size, but I mean, really the height. The height. I mean, sure, it's a large, massive footprint on the ground, but the height you're looking at, how in the world did they erect
it's
that?
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the carvings, like you see Hathor on top of every single pillar, and many of them have been defaced, but what's remaining, what's still there, is everything is perfectly symmetrical. It's like a carbon copy, and you just have to sit there and look at what kind of technology did they have to be able to carve these different things. It's not not these copper tools that traditionalists and mainstream try to make you think. No, they had other technology at their disposal to make these so perfect.
So perfect, and to stand the test of time like that. Mm-hmm. These temples are out exposed to the elements, right? Wind, rain, whatever, earthquakes, right? Anything natural. And it was like it was built yesterday. It's a mind-blowing experiment. I had I don't use foul language on the show, but I'm going to use. I had so many WTF moments.
Yeah.
Right? You just
yeah.
Well, what? Right? It's crazy, man. It was just so much fun. Did you have any contact with spirits or any entities? And the reason why I asked, number one, it's Halloween, but right. Two, there must be entities and powers and things, and for just wandering the sands of Egypt. And, it's been doing it for thousands and thousands of years. Did you have anything special happen?
Yeah, I can't say that I had an interaction with like a specific entity, but I will say I definitely had some spiritual moments there. I could certainly feel the energy. It was definitely palpable. I could feel that things were around me from, other ages, long since past. And I'm I'm one that's a firm believer of, time being concurrent, past, present, future, all happening at the same time. So I firmly believe that I could feel the past still playing out while I was there. So I didn't have a personal interaction with, Ramses II or anything like that, but definitely it was spiritually moving for me.
There were, for me personally, I had many. I guess I can use the word spiritual. I don't know how to explain it, mm-hmm. but there were many moments at some of these temples where I had to like grab something,
yes.
or I had to sit down and just calm down. Did you have moments like that?
Oh, absolutely. There were so many things that were just mind blowing to me. I've done a lot of work into the concept and idea of stargates around the world. I've had classes on connecting the universe many times on that before I even went to Egypt. And you see the idea of the spiral pattern signifying a portal or a stargate or something like that. I've seen a lot of the photos, but then you go to Egypt and you're just in a museum and you're looking at this piece of pottery that you've never seen before. You've never seen a photo of. It's not been on any documentary, anything like that. And there's the spiral pattern. And oh, look, there's an egg, and you can tell it's the cosmic egg, and there's the spiral pattern on it. And it's just these eureka type moments, to symbolize this different technology and phenomena that they were able to utilize. And then just the technology at their disposal to build these different things. We're in the Cairo Museum. We're taking a look at this old sarcophagus that, with this particular one at least, they were carving the lid off of the underside of the sarcophagus, but they stopped midstream. Now, again, we've been led to believe what they were using either stone tools or copper tools to do these. And you're looking at it and it's like, wait a minute, there was a saw blade involved here, because there's this slit right down the back and then it stops. You take a flashlight, you're looking inside and you can see the circular pattern of a circular saw, top and bottom.
Right.
And it just stops. And you're looking at that and you're wondering, okay, this is granite. What in the world is going to be able to cut this? Now, my father, he's a tool and die maker by trade. He's a machinist. He would build the machines that would build the parts and things like that. So I take these photos home to my dad. I'm like, Dad, so tell me what would cut this? And he's looking at it, he's like, that's granite, right? Yeah. Well, it's obviously a circular saw, which they were supposed to have. He's like, diamond tip saw.
Right.
Which of course they were not supposed to have. So things like that it really got my blood rushing.
Did you go to the Serapeum?
Yes.
Okay. Now, out of all of the ginormous things that are there, and it's all big, it's all beautiful, and it's just one thing after another, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. We get that. But the Serapeum takes things to a whole nother freaking level, man. And here's the thing that I wasn't expecting. Again, two. One is it's literally the entrance is underneath sand dunes. I'm not expecting that. And you've been there and you know what I'm talking about. You just walk. Okay, we're going to the Serapeum. Okay, you're walking down this sand road. You round the corner, down this hill, and down.
It's a ramp into the dune.
Yeah, into the sand dune. You're like, wait a minute. And you walk in, and this isn't some crouching little thing. This is a ginormous 20-foot wide, I don't know, 15-foot tall, round hallway.
I've got a photo of me standing under the lid. Yeah.
I've got many of those. It's still, I don't understand it. So anyway, you round the corner and you're looking, like, how this, I don't know if it's granite, what these stone walls are. I don't know, but it's frigging ginormous in the middle of the desert, underneath the sand dune, just a doorway you walk through, and then boom, full of these giant sarcophagus. They're 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall, 20 feet deep. I don't know, 100 tons each. I don't know. I have any clue. But here's point number 2. Talking about energy and high technology. If you really want a representation of crazy tech, for me, it's the Serapeum, because you go through and you're looking at, you got to take a second look. And I did. Those sarcophagus are melted. They're melted. They're not, there are deformities in them. It's like some kind of energy, whatever they were used for, stargates. I don't know. Nobody was buried
it doesn't make any sense. And you take a look and you see these little, like melted spots. I took so many pictures of this. You can see the hieroglyphics is perfect, but it's melted in, right? And the lines are still there, but it's deformed. What deforms granite?
Yeah, how do you melt granite? The tens of thousands of degrees. Yeah.
How do you melt it? And it's everywhere. If you take a really close look and you see a smooth side, then you'll see this dip with what's like the top of a Dairy Queen ice cream cone, with that little curl on the.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
that's
the little dilly bar. Yeah.
Yeah. What's melting granite? Just explain it to me and help me out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of different theories as to what they could have been. Were they, some people believe because the step pyramid is not too far; it's just up the hill.
It's right up the hill.
Yeah, so some people believe that maybe they were used as batteries to help power the step pyramid.
Totally buy it. Yeah.
Or were they some sort of regeneration device? That's another idea. And yeah, you see that vitrification in a lot of different places around Egypt. That's just so out of place. Yes, Egypt is a hot place. It can get to 120, 130 degrees, but that doesn't melt stone.
No.
The whole idea of the Great Pyramid of Giza being a power plant, I don't know, but certainly some sort of machine, because you look at that niche in the Queen's Chamber and that back side, and that stone back there, one, it's charred black, and two, it's vitrified. Somebody melted limestone in that. So no, it's not like traditionalists say, and they're kind of guessing when they're like, well, we think maybe some sort of statue or idol was there. Well, but it's not melting the stone. So, come on. Yeah, you see that in a lot of places.
I shot one continuous video in the Serapeum, right? Mm-hmm. Walking down. I can't express to everybody how big this tunnel is. It's beautiful. But it's an arch and it's huge, man. It's like a shopping mall, right? It's ginormous. And I'm just going sarcophagus after sarcophagus, left, right, all the way up. And you look at the photographs of me and you standing underneath these lids. That's how big the lid is here.
Yeah, the lid's right.
It's like crazy. But here's back to my point about the Serapeum. The technology that it took to dig the tunnels, to create those sarcophagus. I don't know how many there are. There's 20 or something
like that. Yeah.
To get those into there.
That's a tight fit. I mean, you're talking about how big the tunnels are, but when you look at the sarcophagi, they're almost as big as the tunnels.
I don't even know how they fit in the chambers that they're in, and how. So we've all tried to move a refrigerator down some stairs, right? And how difficult that is. Just imagine that process, but you're dealing with 100-ton granite box, and move it. So I don't know. There's
because you're not getting, four guys, one on each corner to move them in. You're not even getting 100 guys
with a dolly, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, and they did it without the wheel too. That's the crazy.
Right. Like, and to transport it up there because it's rose granite from Aswan, so they had to bring that 500 miles up the Nile.
Yeah. And it's again. It's under a sand dune. It's under sand. It's in the middle of the desert. It's crazy. When I walked out of the Serapeum after experiencing that, and went back up on top of the sand, the desert, and turned around and looked, and then I'm picturing what's under the sand there. It's ginormous, man, and you would never know that doorway is down there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Really quick before the break, when you come out of the Serapeum, I'm just wondering what's under my feet. If that's back there, what am I walking on here?
Yeah. What else is out there?
Yeah. What else is out there? And you walk around the corner and they've got those 4 or 5 Greek philosophers, right? The statues that they found buried in the sand.
Yeah.
They're there where they found them. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
just under the sand,
Yeah, just right there. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, all kinds of other tombs that they're finding out there constantly. Other burial shafts, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's I imagine an entire city that's out there that's waiting to be discovered.
The amount of archaeological digs that are going on there, that was another thing I wasn't ready for. It's going on everywhere. You just look and it's like the 1930s, right? You got the tents and the archaeologists with their tables and the dudes with wheelbarrows and rocks and digging. And you see that going on everywhere. It's all over Giza. And they were doing it in the Valley of the Kings when we were there. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah.
A fresh dig going on right in front of me. I'd see 20 dudes with wheelbarrows full of rocks, right? Just like right out of the movie.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a fantastic renaissance here over the last 20 years. It is something like out of the 20s and 30s. There was kind of a lull there for a while. I mean, we had World War II and all that. But it seems like since early 90s, it's really picked back up here again. And so, it's like a whole other renaissance for archaeology out there.
Yeah, last night I had Tony Rathman on the show. Love Tony, right? He's the best.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, man, what would happen if you took your ghost gear and went to Egypt? Right?
So I took some stuff with me. The thing was, again, we had the Giza pyramid for 2 hours by ourselves, but the archaeologist there was like, you can't film if I was going to use some of the devices. But I had some of the devices with me, and one of the things that I wanted to test was I used a chromatic tuner because Tom Danley years ago did some audio testing out there and discovered that the to the key of F or F sharp in the coffer inside the key of A. It's like, okay, let's put this to the test. So I brought out a chromatic tuner. And I had Mohammed Ibrahim there from the antechamber into the king's chamber, and he's doing the Om, and sure enough, boom, F sharp. It's like, that's pretty freaking amazing. And then did the same thing in the coffer, and it was A. So it was, we're confirming an old test, but be able to take those devices in there and be able to test things like that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I'd love. Tony has a lot of great equipment, so I'd love to see him.
Yeah, he's got all the equipment. Get an EM meter in there. I don't know the alphabets of the the K meter, the Z meter, all these different meters. But his communication equipment, his Evox and things, and maybe some infrared or some FLIR cameras, and do a paranormal, do a ghost hunt. Do a ghost hunt at Dendera, man. Do a ghost hunt at Abydos.
That'd be pretty interesting to see what they'd come up with. They wouldn't let them film it. I know that. They're pretty adamant about not filming that type of research or investigation, because we tried it. And no, not that. Because I guess they're really particular about what gets released. 'Cause there's a narrative that they're trying to pass along. So, but you can do it on your own out there.
Yeah. I got to take a break. Let's get this in. Our guest tonight, Mike Ricksecker. Tonight, Halloween night 2. I know we just talked about Egypt, but you've got to go. You've got to go. We'll be right back after this short break. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX DB, VX.
Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my Thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The EdenPURE Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an EdenPURE Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright-Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your Jimmy Church tonight. Night 2. Halloween nights. All the way through to Halloween, October 31st, Monday night. KUNX, the anniversary special, will be right here on Fade to Black with Ray Hobbs and Margie K. And we'll probably have Ricksecker back. And hey, Mike, so check this out.
Yeah.
Last night had Tony Rathman on the show. I live in a haunted house. I've made no secret about that. Place is haunted, whatever. You know, I just deal with it. So I do the show, and I've got this ghost that keeps pulling these
shoes down off of my shoe racks in my closet, right upstairs. And so this morning, I take a shower, goofing around, get out of the shower, getting dressed. I go in my my walk-in closet, and I screamed. And this is what I saw on the floor. One is a pair, right? Sitting in the middle of the floor next to each other. And then over here, I'm backwards. You can see the shoes have fallen down.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow!" And,
somebody likes your shoes, man.
And friggin' Rathman. And it's crazy. I live in this paranormal, supernatural environment that seems, and the pair of shoes was perfect. It felt, I don't know, man. I'm just so glad I haven't seen it happen. I don't want to see it happen.
You'd probably jump.
No, man, I don't want to see it happen. But help me understand, how do you go from the NSA, literally, into paranormal research? Was this something that interested you before you started your career, and then made the change, or did something happen later in life? Help me understand that.
Yeah, the paranormal predated everything with the NSA. I was at NSA because I was in the Air Force, and so I was working for the Air Force at NSA there for a couple of years, and so I had experiences with the paranormal ever since I was a kid. Going back to when I was about 8 years old. I know we're going to talk some about shadow people tonight, but basically, what happened was, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was this tall, dark figure standing in the corner of my bedroom. And you want to go into the whole story right now? Dive into it? All right, let's do it. So, at 8 years old, I have no idea from shadow people. I think that there is an intruder in the house, and he's about to kill me or something, because that's about what you think at 8 years old. Fortunately, I'm still alive to tell the tale, which is great. But I was frightened. I was scared. I'm trying to scream. Nothing's coming out of my mouth because I'm just too terrified. And the thing comes up to my bed, leans over. I'm staring into this blank black face. There's nothing there. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, nothing. It's just all black. And again, still trying to scream. I just can't. And then it does something unusual. Grabs me by the wrists, crosses my arms across my body, and then it runs off down the hall, and of all places, into a closet. So by that point, I find my voice, find my legs, run off screaming to my parents' bedroom. They're nice parents. They're trying to console me, calm me down, and tell me that I just had a bad dream. Well, I knew I hadn't had a bad dream. I'd been awake for this whole thing. Right. So, and I would never call that a haunted house. This was just like a one-off. There may have been something a little paranormal before that.
What do you think this was all about?
Well, I'd wondered that for years. I've seen other shadows since then that were very different. This is the only one that really got physical like that with me. And, for something, we talked about Egypt. A couple of people over the years had postulated the idea that, well, maybe this thing thought you were dead and was putting you into some sort of burial pose, like the Kirk and Flail in Egypt, that sort of thing. It's like, all right, that's not a bad idea. And I had, two separate people years apart from each other suggest that. It's like, well, that's a decent idea. But about a year and a half ago, it was about a year and a half ago now, actually just before I went to Egypt, that I had a hypnotic regression to, find out a couple of different things about myself, but I really wanted to know more about this particular incident because I was going to Egypt, and one of the things that I wanted to research was shadow phenomenon in Egypt, and I had a great conversation with Mohammed about that. And as we looked back at that in this hypnosis session, I got a really, really interesting perspective, not from me, but actually from the perspective of the shadow entity, which was really bizarre because all of a sudden I'm looking down at my little 8-year-old body from the corner of the room. And, it was strange to look at because here's this little boy, with this black moppy hair that I had back then. And he's trying to scream, or me at that age, trying to scream. And what's interesting is I could feel what the shadow entity was feeling. Somehow, the regressionist, Ariana Corsino, had really connected with this being. And so what I'm feeling in that moment is that this thing didn't actually want to scare me. It actually didn't think that I could see it. And when it realized that I could see it and it had scared me, what it was doing when it came up to my bed and crossed my arms like that was it was actually trying to put me into a self hug. And from this new perspective that I got to see, when it crossed my arms like that, it actually tapped me on the wrist, which I couldn't see from my little boy perspective when I was younger. And then it ran off and got out of there so that it would stop scaring me. So of course, a couple of the questions that came up during this that she asked this being was, one, what are you doing there to begin with? And the response was that it was there trying to research humanity. That, it didn't realize that it could be seen, but its purpose was to come to our planet and research what we were as human beings. So then the other question was, where are you from? And the response was from another space, which is kind of an interesting response. So she followed up with, do you mean another dimension? And this entity responded with, you might call it another dimension, but really it's another space. So to me, that was a really interesting response.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
another space.
Exactly. So it almost seems to me that, we have these ideas of what other dimensions may be. Our theoretical physics go into, the idea of we have up to 11 different dimensions. But, given this kind of answer, what we may think of as a dimension, we might just be touching the tip of the iceberg here. And what we're considering dimensions may be like a whole vastly bigger, different realm than we've ever really conceived of in our minds before.
Do you think that it may be the same for them, the same experience that we're experiencing, in that to them, we're in another dimension and we're the ghost, right? We're the entity.
Yeah. No, I've had experiences where I've thought that before.
Right.
Doing a paranormal investigation at an old restaurant called Johnny V's. This was in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and had a really bizarre experience one time where I'm walking through the main door to the kitchen at that restaurant. All of a sudden, there was this wispy little shadow that boom darted across the room, and it was so fast. But you heard this boom, this slam of the side door, which was just like a little flimsy metal door that, you could tap with your finger and it would move because, it was for waiters and waitresses to carry large trays of food. But the crazy thing is that it didn't move. So I had to think about that for a while. Okay, why didn't it move? And I'm calling out to the others that were around, hey, did you guys hear that? Because they were off doing other things, but and they had heard it, but nobody had been over there. Nobody, saw this door move, nothing. So what exactly happened here? And as I thought through that whole incident, okay, I walk into the room and the way it responded to me was like I scared it. Maybe it saw me as the ghost. Maybe it saw me as a shadow, like I saw it. And perhaps on its plane of existence, because I believe this was some sort of interdimensional being, that perhaps on its plane of existence, it blew right through that door. That door opened wide and it ran off into the dining room area. But the sound of it, I could hear it because sound works on a different wavelength than light, which is, what our eyes pick up on. So therefore I was able to hear the sound of that happening, but not actually see it. But yeah, I think that to that particular entity that, I came through as a ghost or a shadow or something.
Can we circle back to this for a second? Did you feel, was it a physical sensation on your wrist placing? Did you feel this happening?
I did. And people ask me, did I feel, coldness? Did I feel electric or, stuff like that? And no, actually, it just felt like any other regular person grabbing a hold of me. There was definitely mass, but nothing really special about it.
It was a physical experience.
It was a physical experience for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
when you've contemplated this a lot, you've done a lot of research into shadow people and different types too, as well.
Yeah.
The phenomenon, though, for it to be physical, if you're feeling it, then there has to be something. There's got to be particles involved. There has to be something at the quantum, the atomic level, where there's that. What do you think ultimately makes up this mass?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's definitely an energetic component to it. So was I, feeling that energy at a, on a physical level like that? Did it? We toss out ideas sometimes of, if some of these are extraterrestrials, are they using some sort of cloaking device, and that because of maybe they don't quite fully understand the physiology of our eyes, that instead of it being invisible as a cloaking device should be, we see it as a shadow, or maybe people report seeing a shimmer type person. So this thing traveling interdimensionally, are they trying to use something similar? Is it some sort? Because again, the idea came through that it thought that I couldn't see it, but I could on some level. So was it using some sort of cloaking technology, and it had a mass behind that maybe it's a whole entire physical being that, who knows? Maybe it had long, wavy brown hair or something. I don't know. What was behind the cloak? No idea.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And the same concepts that we have that we wonder about, right? Is it a frequency of our vision that we're limited to a certain spectrum, and bats and cats and other animals and they see things differently than we do, and different colors and different spectrums, and is it something that's passing in and out, and could these entities, whatever they are, be used to not being seen, and suddenly they're in our, and now they are being seen, and we're catching them by surprise.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. And there are times, so a lot of people will see things out of the corner of their eyes. And really, it's a phenomenon called averted vision. Your eyes are made of rods and cones. And over on the side, that's where most of your light receptors come in from. So that's why you will see, stargazers, a lot of times, if they're trying to see something with the naked eye, they will actually look out the side and not straight on. It's something like a comet or what have you through the air. So that's why, we'll see something out of the corner of our eye, turn and look, and it seems like it's gone. It's not really gone. It's just because of the frequency of light that we're only able to get that through the side rather than straight on.
That explains a lot, and you're freaking me out. In that we all do it, right? You look and it's not there.
And it's gone. Yeah.
Oh man, that's not right. That's some Halloween stuff right there. Because I'm just like everybody else. I'm not planting a flag here. I'm not discovering anything. We all do that. We'll see something to the side. It's there. We see it, whatever it is, and we look and it's not there. And that would explain a lot, that our light receptors are picking up, are more sensitive to one side instead of straight ahead.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and that's I have that in my book, A Walk in the Shadows, and I think it's I had a lot of people reach out to me about that particular issue because they don't understand. Okay, why am I just seeing this out of my periphery? Why am I seeing something just kind of dart across a room and it just seemingly disappears right in front of me? But I think it also kind of creeps them out when I tell them, well, it actually probably didn't disappear. It's probably still right in front of you.
Yeah, like I said, you're freaking me out. It's gotten to the point with me that I don't look anymore.
Yeah,
I know it. Okay, all right, just do your thing. I'm going to keep watching Independence Day, or whatever's in front of me, and I've started to ignore it. Now here's another point though. You have captured stuff on video and on film over the years. I've seen a bunch of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a gymnasium. Was it?
Yeah. The gym, Campsville grade school. Yeah, it was in the gym.
Okay, so when you capture something like that, we've got enough time before the break. Two things must be going on. One, the ability to see it with your naked eye. How did that occur? Because it was captured on video and it's there. With that, this is a remarkable piece of footage that you captured. Did you see it with the naked eye?
Actually, we didn't. And I think that was because the backlight from the viewfinder was right in our faces. So we actually didn't see it with the naked eye. We saw it on video review when we were going through the footage later on. But it's clear as day, and we've gone through that footage so many times to try to figure out, was it something? Well, you can see this thing, clearly walking across the gym floor.
Dude, it's a shadow being walking around. I watched that footage over and over again. You sent it to me. I have it on my drive. Mm-hmm. I've gone back and looked at it. That's some of the most remarkable footage I've ever seen, but also the creepiest.
It was, but that we didn't really feel creeped out because it was very playful with us. We were back and forth across that gym because where we captured that was in front of a set of double doors that led to the boys' locker room and then down to the basement. And we'd be hearing a lot of things over in that direction. So we'd go over there, investigate a little bit. Then we would hear noises over back by the bleachers on the other side of the gym. And so, okay, so stuff's going on. Let's go back over there. And then we'd hear things over by the door again. So it was this constant back and forth.
Right.
And then we finally caught that on film. We ended up going back to do a height comparison to figure out, okay, how tall was this thing? And it would have been about the height of a 10 or 11-year-old child, which fits the idea that it's a school.
Right.
Yeah. So,
incredible piece of now. So here, if you're not seeing it with the naked eye, but it is appearing in the digital format, is it energy? What do you think you're ultimately capturing?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking that. A camera lens works differently than the human eye. We've not been able to precisely replicate the human eye. So the way that camera catches light is different than we catch light. Again, I think the fact that we had the viewfinder in our face with all that backlight at us kind of hindered us being able to see it with the naked eye. I'd love to be able to go back and see if we could see that thing again without the camera at all.
Right.
But yeah, that's something you have to take into consideration, that what we're capturing on camera may be different than what we actually see and vice versa.
Is there history to this particular location with a child and something in the past?
Not so much a child in the gym. It's not like there was an accident in the gym and a child died or what have you. But this is a site. Oh, this was really stupid on their part. So back in the 1920s, about 100 years ago, this particular site was actually a dig site for Native American archaeology. And you can actually see behind the school the terracing in the hillside where they dug everything out. And basically, once they were done with that dig, they put the school right on top of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Didn't they see the movie Poltergeist?
Right.
Oh, man.
So there's a lot of activity that happens within that building. We've caught an apparition of what looks like a woman out of the late 1800s, early 1900s, down the bottom of the stairs there. There are footsteps that you can distinctly hear. You would say from the second floor, but there's no second floor to this building. They're just like phantom footsteps above your head. It's bizarre.
I deal with that every day. I live alone, and my freaking bathroom upstairs, the master bath in my bedroom, tile floor. I'm sitting downstairs, and I just hear it. Plop, 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 plop. And I've just got this understanding of, and this is something we should actually talk about. You're not scaring me. Do your thing. We can cohabitate, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that the best way to approach it instead of freaking yourself out or trying to do a spirit cleanse or a ghost hunt in your own home?
Yeah, in most cases, I mean, most of these things that we're interacting with are, they were once human, and generally you can work out in agreement. Now, it kind of depends on how they were in life. I mean, a generally nice person in life will be a nice person in their afterlife. But, if they were a jerk in life, they're probably a jerk in death too. So it kind of depends on who you're dealing with. But yeah,
Sure.
I know several people who, are able to cohabitate quite well with the spirits in their house. They come to a working agreement.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there and I'll just hear it and just whatever. It's so, I used to really get upset. Right? Like, okay, what is it? Do I have a raccoon living in the rafters? Do I need to get up there with a flashlight? Do I need to go and investigate? Do I need to get up? Now, it's been, over a year I've been dealing with it. I just, whatever.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm not going to change. It's constant. Maybe it's the pipes. Maybe it's this. I've tried to resolve it a million different ways. It doesn't change the fact that whatever it is, it happens right there in my bathroom above my head. But I just love this part of the paranormal. And I've always been a little confused about the definitions. Before the break, when we talk about the paranormal, and then is supernatural interchangeable, or are we talking about two different things?
That's a good question. So, they're certainly related. I think what we've done in our modern culture is we've taken the term paranormal and we've applied it to ghosts and hauntings, and we've taken supernatural and we've said that that's kind of all-encompassing strange phenomenon. But if you think about it, and Hans Holzer had a great quote in regards to this, that there really is no supernatural. Everything that we're dealing with is actually quite natural. It's part of our universe. It's just, we don't see it as often as other things in our universe. And so, yeah, it's nothing to be scared of. It is phenomenon that is supposed to be happening.
And so paranormal just means, for the normies out there, something that is not normal in their normal world.
Right. Yeah, something that's not normal in your normal world. And, there are people that are quite not normal. So what would be, what's your definition of normal at that point?
Right. Let's take a break right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Night 2 of our Halloween week. Mike Ricksecker is our guest. More with Mike when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
The Believer is the chilling true story of Dr. John Mack, a renowned Harvard psychiatrist and Pulitzer Prize winner.
This is an outreach program from the cosmos to the consciously impaired.
He risked it all to investigate human encounters with aliens. The Believer, Alien Encounters, Hard Science, and the Passion of John Mack. Written by award-winning former New York Times journalist and author Ralph Blumenthal. Now available in paperback from High Road Books.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder. but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Do you want to be an official Fade or Not? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fade or Nots. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
Hi, I'm Ray Sobbs, and I'm here to tell you about something I really think you're going to like. The UNX Network is a part of a larger group called UNX Media, and one of the things we offer is the quarterly UNX magazine, which is available both in print and digital formats. This amazing magazine covers all aspects of the unexplained and makes for a great coffee table periodical that is certain to spark enlightening conversations in your living rooms. We invite you to check out the latest digital issue for free. Just go to unxnetwork.com/membership and fill out your free membership with your name and email and become a new free member. The new summer issue is now available, and the theme is Time Anomalies, which includes a feature article written by our managing editor, Lee Spiegel. Just go to unxnetwork.com/memberships. That's unxnetwork.com/memberships and get your free e-copy of the UNX magazine today.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest is Mike Ricksecker. Night 2 of Halloween nights here, all the way through the end of the month, through Halloween, October 31st. And Mike, check this out. Somebody just posted, Mike looks like Mike Damone of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
And I was like, man, we got to come back after the break.
Got a Fast Times reference. All right.
Yeah. Just say it, just for me. Just go. Take it so close, you'll scare the band. Remember that? Remember Cheap Trick?
Yeah. Oh, my accents are terrible. I'd butcher it.
It's the best movie ever. Damone was my favorite character. He made the movie for me. He was just incredible. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. Okay, back to can we manifest shadow people?
Oh, that's an interesting question. So I think, well, I mean, the idea of being able to manifest, anything, you talk like law of attraction, trying to manifest something into your life. Could you manifest a shadow person? Could you call upon another entity from another realm to come in? I think we certainly can. Just even the idea of, using a Ouija board or something like that. That's what we're doing. We're inviting spirit to come in. So to invite specifically a shadow person, that might be a little bit more challenging, because I believe what we're seeing as the shadow just happens to be the energetic modality that they're using to enter into our plane of existence. So, with shadow people, they could be human spirits, they could be interdimensional beings, it could be extraterrestrials, and a lot of other different things. They could even be light beings, but the light is so beyond the spectrum that our eyes can view that all we're seeing is the being in the middle rather than the light. So to be able to, ask somebody or some entity to say, hey, appear to me as a shadow, they might not actually know how to do that. Like, they could appear, and however your eyes are able to perceive it, as a shimmer, as a shadow, as an apparition, that's the way your eyes function.
Well, Slenderman. I think Slenderman is an example of, it got so big and so huge and so popular that I think people were manifesting Slenderman into their life. I'll give you an example. Me personally, the game Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
There was a stage in the game where you would get out of your car and walk up to in this section. There was like this cabin in this little section of woods. Anyway, Slenderman would pop up and follow you, right?
Cool.
And you could get this going. And so I'm playing Grand, and I thought it was kind of cute at first. So I got 2 days of Slenderman, following me and walking, and you get into this house, and Slenderman is trying to get in, and then it's like, anyway, dude, I dreamt that stuff for like 2 months.
Nice.
Right? I manifested that right into my dreams. And I really feel that Slenderman, because of the power of the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entanglement of hive minds and everybody, I went and I seriously manifested Slenderman into my life. I'm going to, what was that? Creepypasta?
Creepypasta is the website that houses all of his lore and everything these days.
I listened to story. I would do Slenderman, catching the new Slenderman story and listen to that when I would go to bed, and I manifested Slenderman right into my world.
Yeah, all of that from a Photoshop contest, which is where he originated. Right. But I mean, you're talking about the idea of a tulpa, or the Buddhist idea of a thought form, of being able to put so much energy into something to create a sentient being from your thoughts. And specifically speaking on shadows, there's a fascinating story from years ago, and I first came across it in all places, the Mothman Prophecies. It has nothing to do with the Mothman, but it's like right there, chapter 1 of the Mothman Prophecies. And Keel's talking about in this story is Walter B. Gibson, who under the pseudonym Maxwell Grant wrote the old shadow stories, the Shadow Knows, the old pulp novels. And when he moved out of his house in Greenwich Village, all of a sudden people reporting this shadow activity in the house. They were seeing, especially in the hallway, this shadow with a wide brimmed hat. And you had guys like Hans Holzer going in there and others, and they're finding different, paranormal activity. And you talk Greenwich Village, it's 12 Gay Street is the address. So it's a famous haunted house, and they're finding all kinds of things because the house was built in the early 1800s. But some people started believing, well, maybe this is a spy from the Revolution or something like that. And so Keel and then also Gibson chimed in on this. Is like, no. It's none of that. What it actually is that Gibson had put so much effort and passion into writing his stories. And we're talking like he had multiple typewriters set up around the house. They didn't have word processors back in the day. You didn't have multiple documents open on your computer. He had multiple typewriters set up, and his fingers would bleed just bam, 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 typing out on these typewriters. He was writing 2 novels per month. Plus he was writing all the other stories within the Shadow magazine. So He was just constantly, all of this energy that he was putting out. Both Keel and Gibson are saying, no, this is actually Lamont Cranston. This is the shadow that has actually manifested itself as its own sentient being within this house.
The theater of the mind that the shadow knows with radio, I can only imagine what that did to America back then, because your imagination, you're listening to the radio in the dark, you're listening to tremendous theater radio done with the intention to scare the crap out of you.
Right.
And your imagination. And I'm just wondering how many people manifested the shadow knows into their own homes.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm sure plenty of people had nightmares at least over it, because everybody, it's interesting about that. We're very, very visual today with our cinema and our television shows and all of that. Back then, when they're listening to these stories, every person had a different idea as to what the shadow looked like.
Yeah, I do. Another thing, there's a couple of series on Audible, and I like the way that Audible does. They bring in actors. They've got the sound effects. It's just like Orson Welles, right?
Yeah.
And they've got everything going on. And I'm listening to some pretty interesting stuff at night that you fall asleep to that, and you're listening to it. You're asleep. And it takes you straight there. Tremendous visual dreams that had to have been going on. Creepypasta did that to me. Oh man, I just
they did a number on you, huh?
Well, I probably did a solid year of creepypasta every night.
Okay.
It's a bad addiction because it's amazing, right? And some of these stories, for me, the longer the better. Right. There's 5-minute creepypasta. There's 30-minute creepypasta. And, give me the long, the long crazy story. And I'll tell you who does it for me now, not to get too sidetracked, but Ryan Murphy, American Horror Story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, great series. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. His new one, Watcher, is also very good.
Okay.
But if here's the crazy part. I was talking about this last night with Tony Rathman. Ryan Murphy and I went to the same high school together, right? Warren
cool.
Central. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know what was going on in his neighborhood a couple of blocks away from mine. I grew up to be pretty normal. Ryan is twisted, man. His storytelling and where he comes up with this stuff, it scares the crap out of me. It's really well done, which takes me to this segue. It's a pretty smooth one. Historically, shadow people, the fedora, the dude, the thing. This has been around for a very long time. This isn't some modern phenomena of the internet age. Historically, this goes back hundreds of years.
Oh, thousands. This stuff has been around for forever. You can take it back to ancient Sumer and the They had entities that they called Udugs. We've translated the word into demon, but it's really not the same thing because you had good and bad ones. There was one particular named Alu, and it very much like what we would consider a shadow person today, where it would hover over people at night. It had no facial features, no eyes, no nose, no mouth, that sort of thing. It actually didn't even have any limbs, so it didn't have any arms and legs either. And it was a binding spirit, or what they called a binding spirit. The person would suffer from some sort of sleep paralysis. So you had this Udug or demon hovering over a person, and then the shaman would come in and invoke a good demon or a good Udug to do battle with it. But then, we're talking Egypt earlier, and with their shadows, it was part of their religion, their belief system of the afterlife, where you had multiple different parts of the soul, and most of those upon death would go on to the constellation of Orion. But then you had two parts: the Ka, the animating part of the soul, and the Kabit, the shadow, that would stay here on Earth. Now, the Ka eventually would go off to the constellation of Orion. What would happen there? You see a lot of these tombs that have the false doors, and the idea was that the Ka would eventually pass through that doorway onto Orion, but the Kabit, the shadow, would still roam around here on Earth. And there's a fantastic depiction of this in the tomb of Arenifer in the Theban necropolis, where you see the bawbirds that are taking flight going off to Orion, and there's the shadow just hanging out by the tomb, basically doomed here forever on Earth. So you see a lot of that in these different ancient cultures.
When did we'll get to the fedora in a second, because I think that is fast, but the top hat came in, and you suddenly had story after story and encounter after encounter of these, I almost said men in black, these shadows with wearing top hats and black overcoats and no faces. And suddenly this pops up in pop culture.
Yeah, you see it. Even today, people are still seeing these things that, whether they have the top hat or the fedora, sometimes they have a cape with the fedoras, they might have a trench coat. But it seemed like for a while it was accustomed to whatever the style was at that time. But a lot of these have hung around too. So the top hat guy, he wasn't just 1800s Victoria era. People today still see that guy.
And what and the fedora, over and over again, I've looked at illustrations and heard the stories, and suddenly we've got the fedora shadow man. Is there an origin to this? When did this start to pop up?
Yeah, some ideas are that it's some sort of trickster entity that's trying to take on the the image of a human being, trying to blend in as much as it can. But then you have fascinating stories like Albert K. Bender from the 1950s, where he walks in. He had founded the International Flying Saucer Bureau. He was doing a bunch of UFO research.
He was a government dude. He was military. And was an agency dude too, as well. Continue. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But he walks into his bedroom one night, and all of a sudden he witnesses these three dark, shadowy, hat-wearing entities with glowing eyes, smelling of sulfur, materialized through the wall in his room.
Came straight through his walls.
Yeah, came straight through the walls. And they told him, you need to stop your UFO research right now. And, I hear that story and I'm like, well, these are our hat men, our paranormal, shadow entities. Bender's story is that, no, these were actually extraterrestrials, and they were warning him off the UFO research because they were harvesting resources from Antarctica, and he couldn't, until their 15-year mission was done, he couldn't say anything about it.
And he didn't talk about it.
He didn't.
For a dozen years. Until he put it in a book.
Yeah, Flying Saucers and the Three Men. It's on the shelf behind me. But other people hear the story and they're like, oh, these are the Men in Black.
The Men in Black, right.
Yeah. So it's almost like we're almost talking about one and the same thing. Shadow people, the Hat Man sort of thing, extraterrestrials, the Men in Black. Are they all kind of one and the same here? And it's just a different context depending on who witnesses it.
It just, and it evolved into pop culture so much, like just the TV show Fringe, right?
Yeah, The Observer.
Yeah, The Observer, right?
Yep.
What fedora, black trench coat across the street, checking you out.
Yeah, no, I love that because there was always somewhere in the show was The Observer, and so yeah, we'd have a good time trying to pick up. Oh, Observer over there in the corner. Yeah,
fedora. You know, and like I said, it came straight into pop culture, and again, I can't help but feel that if you see it enough, if you hear it enough, if you're reading it enough, you can manifest this into your own life and see something, and because you're attracting it.
Yeah, you start to tune into it,
right?
Because some people see more shadows than apparitions. Other people see more apparitions than shadows. And I think it's one of those things that the more you start to interact or tune your personal frequency, resonance, and vibration into that type of phenomena, the more you're going to see it.
Now, let's backtrack a little bit here,
okay.
Because with Albert K. Bender, and some will say that this was the first mention of Men in Black in history, right? Is there a possibility here that the Men in Black and the fedoras, the shadow, are we talking about the same thing?
I mean, possibly. And actually, the Men in Black kind of predated that because I went back to the Montauk sighting with the slag that fell out of the sky with the who was
Maury Island.
Maury Island. There we go. Maury Island. I knew it began with an M. Yeah, that was the first Men in Black. Yeah, so that had been a while, which is why a lot of people started speculating. Okay, Bender fell off the map. He closed up this organization that blew up in a year, went international in a year. Back in a time we didn't have the internet, and it was in the UK. It was in Australia, and all of a sudden, boom, he shuts it down. That's why people were speculating, well, did the Men in Black get to Bender? Sort of, depending on what you believe these things were.
Yeah, the same month, if we go back to Maury Island, 1947, in a 2-month period, we had that. We had Kenneth Arnold.
Yep.
We had Roswell. Tucked in the middle of that, though, was another Men in Black experience with Rhodes and his photographs in Phoenix, Arizona. And to me, I think that his photographs, the three, which show a black triangle, 1947, kind of like a rounded front. Anyway, strange photographs for sure. Right before Roswell, tucked in the middle. All of this happened, in June and July 1947. Here's the thing. Rhodes said, he takes the pictures. They're published in, the city newspaper there in Phoenix. He gets the knock. Front door. 3 dudes, black suits. And he gave this account also in 1947. He didn't know anything about Maury Island, right? Nobody did at that time.
Yeah, I mean, that was local to Maury Island. Yeah.
Local story. And they demanded his photographs. And he gave them up. He gave up the photographs, gave up the negatives. They split, and the photographs showed up in his mailbox a year later.
Yeah.
But again, a Men in Black reference, very similar, the same description. I think he said there was something else about Rhodes when he was talking to the local newspaper. It was like a big story. They showed up and took the photographs after they were published in the newspaper. He also described a black sedan in front of his house.
Right. Yeah. The black sedans. Everything. Yeah. Everything is black, and those sedans. Yeah. It's one of those creepy things. Okay. You've reported something. The black sedan rolls up. Oh no. Here they come.
Do you think it's because, going back to Albert K. Bender, that there's a possibility here that We're talking about extraterrestrials posing as humans, and they need to look human, so they pick what they think is the right car. And it's this black sedan, and it's like a standard issue for them, and they're trying to blend in.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the idea. And black car is kind of one of the easiest ways to blend in for mode of transportation. So it makes a lot of sense. And then I mean we're gonna dress all in black because it's very nondescript. I mean, how do you describe somebody that's dressed in black?
Have you, in your research, have you had a Men in Black experience yourself?
I mean, I knew some of those guys. So yeah.
Go ahead.
I didn't hang out with them at the office water cooler, but in the NSA circles, you met a couple of those guys. And there were times that I had to go off site to some place hidden in plain sight. And my job was to fix and work on computers, and I'm dressed in a suit. So people will kind of poke fun at me or whatever. Say, "Oh, you're a Man in Black." Well, not really. Yes, I had to put on a suit and make it seem like I wasn't involved with the government or military or anything. But those guys would be there. Yeah.
When we come back after the break, I'm writing this down so I don't forget. I'm gonna. I don't think I've told this story on the air. I'm gonna do a setup for you. I had a friend that I knew pretty well at the time. Was applying for a high-level security position within the government. And it was, I can't say a whole lot, but let's say it had to do with something like confirming missile treaties, right? I mean, like crazy high level, something in that general area. And he comes to me and he says, "Okay, Jimmy, you're going to be contacted by a special agent, and they're going to do a character interview with you about me. Are you cool with that?" I was like, "Bring it, man. Let's go. So what happened and how it went down, I'll tell you the story when we come back after the break. It was nuts. It was one of the craziest, cool, but it was nuts. And we'll do that right after the break. Our guest tonight, the one and only Mike Ricksecker. This is Fade to Black. It's night 2 of our Halloween week. We're talking about shadow people, Slenderman, the fedora dudes, Men in Black, all of that stuff. It's Halloween. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX DB, VX.
The Believer is the chilling true story of Dr. John Mack, a renowned Harvard psychiatrist and Pulitzer Prize winner.
This is an outreach program from the cosmos to the consciously impaired.
He risked it all to investigate human encounters with aliens. The Believer, Alien Encounters, Hard Science, and the Passion of John Mack. Written by award-winning former New York Times journalist and author Ralph Blumenthal. Now available in paperback from High Road Books.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Night 2, Halloween weeks, heading into October 31st. It's the KUNX 1-year anniversary special event. We're going to broadcast it live here on Fade to Black with Race Hobbs and Margie K and a bunch of special guests. We're going to be doing some paranormal stuff, we're going to do a paranormal live investigation on the air, too, as well. That's going to happen. It's going to be great. And that's Monday, Halloween, October 31st. Tonight, Mike Ricksecker is with us. And before the break, I was setting up this interview that I did with this agent. And so my friend tells me about this. I get the phone call. It was like the next day. On cue, and this, he introduces himself, and I found out later he did his own little research into me too as well. And at the time I was doing sports radio, and he knew all about that. Anyway, so he goes, "I'll meet you at the Starbucks at Coldwater and Sherman Way." I went, How do you know that? I'm thinking this. It's like, a couple blocks from my house kind of thing. Right. And I was like, okay, whatever, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I'll see you there. So, and it was the next day. So I pull into the Starbucks and I walk in. I'm like, okay, I wonder what he looks like. Oh, there he is. Right. And so dark gray suit, almost black suit, but it was dark gray. Big dude, and we sit down. He hands me his business card on All That I Love, State Department Special Agent. That's what.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. I still have it. I still have the card. I saw it not too long ago. So anyway, but here's the trippy part about this. So we go through and we have, this thing, we drink coffee and we talk about my friend, and it's about a half hour. And he said, okay, thank you so much. And shakes my hand. He goes, I'm going to leave. And then you leave. I was like, wow, that's
okay.
Okay. All right. So he gets up and I watch him walk out. And I'm like, screw this. And I got up, man. And I went outside. I wanted to see his car. Yeah. Definitely. Maybe take a picture. I'm serious about all of this. He was gone.
Just completely disappeared.
Where'd he go? Now, I'm not saying it was paranormal. I'm not going there. But he was definitely picked up immediately. So there was
right outside the door.
Yeah. He was gone. He was gone. I was expecting him to be, walking up to a car and unlocking the door. It was that close in the time. He was gone.
Or did he open the door and step right into a portal?
Yeah, right. It was bizarre, man. It was absolutely bizarre. My friend got the job.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him for like 5 years, and I got this email out of the blue, and hey, man, and but anyway, I can't say anymore. I can't say anything else. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting. He disappeared, man. It was he did not. It was funny. He did not want to be identified. Well, I had his card. I'm talking about the car, his entrance, his exit. That was just a weird thing. You stay here. I'm going to split. What?
Yeah, they don't joke around.
No.
When I went into the Air Force, because I needed a top secret security clearance, and with a couple of different compartments and things like that. And I was just a kid at the time. I was 18 years old when I went in, but they were hunting down friends of mine across the country. I had graduated from a high school in Ohio. They had tracked down a friend of mine to Louisiana, and they were asking her about some ex-girlfriend that I had in high school. So, which is kind of bizarre, but yeah, they wanted to know every single little detail, and they would, spare no expense. We'll go across the country looking for people.
Yeah, I don't know when I don't know when I'm going to see you next, but I'll tell you a couple of things I can't talk about on the air, but
sure, yeah,
about things that go on in the State Department and these subjects. I find it fascinating. And I just know firsthand, firsthand that they're interested in this subject. I know it as a fact. They know who I am, and it's a strange thing. We'll talk about that off of the air. Let's get back to when you say, I worked with these guys. Was there a conversation about UFOs in and around the offices of the NSA?
This is what I'll say about that.
So the answer is yes. Okay. All right.
Because you're in an organization like that, and curiosity gets the best of you. I did not work for a department that dealt with UFOs, but you do a little poking around, you do a little asking around. When I was there at NSA, the movie Independence Day came out, so that kind of inspired me to do a little poking around. And you're seeing that, okay, there are different departments that are looking into the phenomena. They want to know what's going on, at least. On surface, that's what I could see. Of course, since I didn't have a need to know and there was no business for me to get into those departments, I didn't get involved and I couldn't find any more details. But what I find interesting is, having had my experiences there, is there a certain you hear people talk about, well, I have an insider from NSA, and he says that on the 7th floor of NSA they have all of this UFO research and extraterrestrial technology, et cetera, et cetera. And I kind of have to laugh at a comment like that, because, well, for one thing, if you're talking about the NSA headquarters campus, because NSA is all over the place.
Yes, it is.
It's not just one facility, but even if you're just talking about the NSA headquarters campus, it's 4 main buildings and 3 of them have a 7th floor, and nobody refers to it as the 7th floor. There is a floor, the 9th floor, that is referred to like that, because that's where a long time ago, back in the day, that was the floor that had all the high brass on it. And even when they moved their offices to one of the other buildings, one of the Reagan buildings, they still called it the 9th floor, even though it wasn't the 9th floor anymore, because that was the nickname for it. But yeah, when you talk about, it would be like, okay, 7th floor of the 2A building or something like that. Nobody would just say the 7th floor of NSA. So it's certain things like that, because I was there, that I can kind of key in on when somebody's trying to tell a story.
I'm going to show you this. When you say the NSA is all over the place, right? I just recently
It was right down the hall for me when I was stationed in Alaska. I mean, like literally 2 doors down.
Where is it here? Okay, maybe I'll look for it during the break. I was just at Vandenberg. Oh, here we go. Here's okay.
Okay.
That's NRO, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then hold on. As if that's not enough. Oh, hold on. Man, am I showing stuff that's going to get me in trouble? I can't find. I've got a shot of the NSA sign. I did not want to take a shot of the building. Right.
You know what's funny about that is, when we have moments of conflict in our nation, they will cover up the sign, with like black fabric or whatever. The building's right there. You can't cover the building, but we'll cover the sign and pretend like the building's not standing.
It was so funny. When I cleared security at Vandenberg, they go, "Okay, man, check this out. No photography. We'll let you know if you can take pictures, but other than that, no picture." I said, "Well, can I take a picture with you guys here?" No, right? And he goes, "You know where you can take a picture right now?" I said, "Yeah." On All That I Love, this is what he said: "Outside by that tree." That's what he said, right there. And I was like, "Okay, it's like that." So I'm driving around. I've got a civilian car on base. That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And this is a Space Force, right? And I'm driving around. I've got my camera, man. Right?
Yep.
Taking pictures, waiting to get in trouble. But I stayed in bounds. I didn't cross. But I was fascinated to see the level of agencies and intelligence that were right there. And you just wonder what's going on inside of those buildings because of the conversation that's going on now. With the Pentagon and with the intelligence agencies and the desire for Congress and the Senate to get information from the agencies and cooperation into the UAP task force with what they know. Does the NSA care about that? You know what I mean? If Congress comes to them and they want information about UFOs, do they have to respond? Do they give a crap? Or is that something that they're just going to, like anything else that's a secret, they're just going to keep the information to themselves?
Yeah, when it comes to the NSA, of course, it's a major part of the intelligence community, and it's been a long time since I've been there. It's 25 years ago. So, I don't know how much has really changed over that time, but when I was there, their hands were in the cookie jar and everything. So anything relating to UFOs, a conversation that's going on right now with some of the other intelligence organizations regarding that. And it's great that, they're finally acknowledging that, okay, there are some things out there that we can't explain. Now, it's been going on longer since, 2004. So it's a little discouraging when they don't recognize some of the outstanding cases still from Project Blue Book, but they're at least acknowledging it now. And so I have to imagine that the NSA is keeping their ear to the ground and all of that.
Yeah, and when it comes to, and I don't know if you have any direct knowledge, but certainly you hear the same things that I do. And when the CIA or the NRO or whatever, right, the NSA, Congress, comes to them or the Senate and says, "We want you." Do they really care? Do they really care about what Congress is requesting here or the Senate? You know what I mean? Do they honestly? It's got to be above levels of authority here where they're going to ignore those types of requests, at least to the level of real information.
I mean, I'll say this: if Congress, if Congress comes out and says, okay, intelligence community, NSA, whichever organization, you are allowed to do this, and you're not allowed to do that. They don't care.
Yeah,
they're going to do it. They're going to do what they want.
Right. I'm so fast. What do you make of this sudden uptick that's been going on? I'm going to say in the last 2 years. Certainly, it would go back to the New York Times in December of 2017. But this general conversation, not only out of Washington D.C. and the Pentagon, but also in the media. And FOIA requests and the information that is coming out. It's never been like this historically. Why do you think there's a sudden interest when it comes to Washington, D.C. and the UFO subject?
Well, I think it's something that you can no longer ignore. There's too much technology that's gotten into the hands of the common person that can record this phenomena that they can't ignore it anymore. So they have to address it somehow. And I think that is what we're starting to see. Okay, we have enough people now. There's enough of the world population that has been able to record that we can't debunk this any longer. So we will start acknowledging at least the point that we can't explain it. And, it's kind of a shell game, we're going to at least, give the perception of we're doing this, that, and the other. They've been in on it for decades, right? So, okay, we'll acknowledge something. We'll give the public a little bit of something, but we still need to control the narrative. So that's why you're seeing like these different organizations pop up, and you're seeing Congress get into it because they still need to control the narrative. We can't deny it anymore, but we still need to control it.
Do you think that Congress and the Senate are surprised that they distribute the money, right? They handle the budgets for all of the agencies and any secret access program, but certainly with the military and everything else, that because they handle the purse strings and they are supposed to have access to what is going on, they're not getting the information about this subject that they want. And I think that they are surprised at the level of stonewalling when it comes to the UFO subject, where they're not used to this. They have access to whatever if you're on a committee and you're the head of a committee and you want information, you can go and find it and get whatever you need. But it's not happening with the UFO subject. And I think they're very surprised about that.
Yeah, it's pretty limited. When it comes to a congressman or a senator and these sorts of things, it's still limited as far as what they can actually have access to. Still, is there a need to know for this particular congressman, to have that information? And we see where they become. We saw Gallagher up on the stand. I loved his questioning, his line of questioning, and Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin, and he was great. But obviously, he had the answers to some specific questions. And I loved how he was testing the waters. What did these guys actually know? And they had no idea. And they're supposed to be the representatives for these different organizations. And so, there's certainly stonewalling there. And some of it you could get a glimpse of, okay, when we go to the more sensitive conversation that we can't make public, there's some other information back behind there. And I think that was surprising to our congressmen. Yeah, they're not getting all the information. And even when they ask the more pertinent questions, there's a dance that's going on.
Yeah, and with those two, Moultrie and the other guy, his name escapes me, but that either they didn't know, specifically Gallagher's questions, which were very pointed, name names, dates, places, he's very specific.
Yeah, we're going to talk specifically Maelstrom. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and to have those two look at each other and go, you know anything about Maelstrom? I've never heard about that. Now, either they're lying and they know all about it,
or they don't know about it. And if they don't know about it, what are they doing heading this committee?
Yeah, I think there are certain questions that were asked in which they were definitely deflecting. But the Maelstrom question, I mean, unless they're extremely good actors, and I doubt they are, they looked like they had absolutely no clue as to what Gallagher was talking about with Maelstrom. So then, yeah, you have to ask your question: why are these two guys, representing these organizations? If it's a famous case, how do they not know about it? If this is supposed to be, their job? Yeah, that was mind-boggling.
Yeah, and I think that there's another very strong point here that isn't discussed much, but I think they thought that they were going to be able to just go in and telephone it.
Oh yeah, I believe so too. Yeah,
it's just going to be a walk in the park. They're going to be able to do a dance for 90 minutes. Over, out, done. I don't think that they expected these specifics. And that's where they had to do the dance. And also with the video that was shown was unprepared, right? You would think
they couldn't even pause it in the right spot.
Well, normally, here's the thing, Mike, if you're going to be doing that, you've got your easels in back of you. You've got your posters, right? You've got your thing. You're prepared, and you stop. And this is what we're looking at here. And if you look over here, no, they had nothing. They just thought that they were going to come in and skate through this, show a quick cell phone video, hit play and break for lunch, and it was going to be over.
I mean, they didn't even touch on some of the more significant sightings. It'd take one, okay, we can explain this one away, and the other one goes by so fast that it's going to cause doubt to anybody who watches this thing, zip by real quick. It's like a little dot, and there it goes. But there's so many more compelling videos out there. Why did they choose these two? Like you said, because they can just kind of shoo it away. Yeah, we're done. We'll just dance it around it, and that'll be it.
I know it's Halloween, but I want to stay on this subject.
Yeah.
I think right now today's the 19th of October. We were promised a few things that were supposed to happen in 2022. We were promised 2 reports, a public report at 6 months. At the end of the year, the classified report was so that we still have timing on that, but we never got the 6-month report, another, the update to the UAP task force report. Never got that. And there was supposed to be another hearing in 2022. Do you expect any of this to happen this late into the year?
I don't. I mean, the government likes to delay a lot. So they might. Honestly, they probably won't even give us an excuse, but they might give us some sort of excuse, but they'll probably delay it till sometime next year.
Is there an expectation with you that once we got the first hearing out of the way, tested the waters, got some subjects put out there, like the Admiral Wilson, Eric Davis document got put in?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, that got put into the public record, that now the groundwork has been laid and that the next hearing will be taken to another level.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons for the delay is I think the government that's behind this, not the government that's up there asking questions, but the government that's behind all the secrecy, is probably looking at it now. Okay, these guys are a little smarter than we gave them credit for. They're actually asking some tougher questions. So what's our strategy going forward? So I think there's a lot of additional preparation that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think they were not when the chairman of the committee from Indiana, when he started off the hearing and he said UFO. Right? He didn't say UAP. He said this is the first UFO hearing and blah, blah, blah. UFO. And he stressed that. Now, he went on and mentioned UAP, but clearly from the get-go, he said UFO. And with the other line of questioning that started to develop with the other members of this is a subcommittee, going directly at ET, the subject of ET and UFOs, and the clear definition of what a UFO is and what the public understands UFOs to be. That's what that hearing was about. And those two, Bray, that was his name, Bray.
You're right. Okay.
Bray and Moultrie, they wanted to talk about foreign technologies, right? And
there was a lot of steering back to foreign technologies. It was like they wanted whatever, wherever the conversation went on some UAP or UFO setting or what have you, they wanted to steer it back to, well, we want to make sure, it's not some sort of foreign technology. Yeah, absolutely. And so I think they wanted to give the public the idea that, well, we're not really talking about ETs. We're not really talking about, UFOs or anything like that. We're talking about, foreign adversaries. And that actually almost strikes fear in a person like, oh my gosh, are, these things that we've seen over our skies here in America actually a foreign adversary? Could they be attacking? That puts a, fear into the common person. So it seemed like they were steering it down that road. But credit to the congressman on the panel, they kept pulling it back to the real conversation.
Yeah, it kept steering it back. I remember one of the congressmen when he said, "Well, okay, now, but what about ET?" Right?
Yeah.
And they did the dance, and he goes, "Okay, but are we going to discuss that in the classified briefing this afternoon? Are we going to talk about ET then?" I thought that was
interesting, and they acknowledged that they would.
Yes, it was very, very interesting. Mike, I want to thank you so much. What a great conversation tonight. Now you're on Friday nights. Fade to Black is not on Friday nights, but your Friday nights
Friday nights 11 p.m. Eastern on the X. Yeah, Connecting Universe.
And what's your favorite subject to cover?
Oh my gosh. Well, Connecting, it's funny because Connecting Universe, we cover it all,
Right.
So, and really, in different phases of my life, I've taken like a bigger interest in some areas. So, the paranormal was huge for a while with my research, but really that's like the tip of the iceberg. And so I have found myself more into, the esoteric side of things. Let's get into ancient Egypt. Let's investigate the Stargates. Let's try to figure out what, portal technology was and how the ancients were able to do these different things. So, what's hidden in Antarctica? Is it is there anti-gravity technology there that maybe has been hidden by the ancients, things like that. I'm really fascinated in.
Yeah, it's really funny for me that you mentioned that because as I go through this, it doesn't matter if it's ancient Egypt or ghost or UFOs. Everything keeps coming back to the science for me. It just goes right back to the physics and the research that is going on. And the more that orthodox academia keeps pushing these issues, I see that it's like a head-on train collision that's about to happen. The same things that they're trying to make us understand, whether it's the multiverse or entanglement and dimensions and all of this, it's exactly what this community has been talking about for a very long time, for thousands of years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. You see some article come out talking about, well, scientists believe now that the consciousness goes off into the cosmos after death. It's like, come on, ancient religions have been talking about that for thousands of years. Or like the Earth has a consciousness. It's again, we've been talking about this for thousands of years, and science is finally now acknowledging it. So. Yeah.
In Brian Greene's new book, Race, I know we're up against a break, but we're going to keep this going. I can't stop in the middle of this. In Brian Greene's latest book, now he talks about the extension of time to the end, right? Okay, where we are now, 13 billion years into this, where are we going to be? 100 trillion years in the future, what's going on? And he breaks it down, and moving forward, and how he ends everything, right? The end of everything is that, what you just said, that thinking and thought will be the last thing. Just bundles of energy of thought.
It's pure consciousness.
Pure consciousness. Yeah. Drifting around the universe. Suns have long, planets have, the particles have come apart. Gravity is done. There's nothing left except for thought and thinking. It's like, wait a minute here, man. You won't talk about consciousness, right? You won't discuss consciousness. There's a line in the sand. You don't want to go there, but you'll have a chapter in your book discussing the last thing that there will be in the vastness of space is thought.
Is thought, which is consciousness. Yeah, go figure that.
I love it. Hey, Mike, thank you so much, my friend. Everybody check out Mike's show, Connecting the Universe.
Connecting the Universe, yes.
Yeah, Connecting the Universe, Friday nights right here on KUNX. Mike Ricksecker, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Great show tonight, great conversation, and I'll be right back after this short break, and let's open up the phone lines. All right? See what you have to say. I know you guys want to talk about Egypt. I'll talk about that. All right. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my Thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The EdenPURE Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an EdenPURE Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX DB, the X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from Rivermoon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I want to thank Mike Ricksecker. Amazing conversation, and such his research and his knowledge. It's just amazing. What a great conversation. Night 2 of our Halloween week. I've opened up the phone lines, 818-921-6929 or 323-275-9695. Talked about everything tonight. Ghosts, the paranormal, supernatural, Slenderman, shadow figures, of course, the subject of UFOs, and we got some Egypt in there too as well. There's so much to unpack, and so anyway, the phone lines are open right now, wide open. 818-921-6929 or 323-275-9695. Earlier tonight, when I was talking about we don't know nothing. And towards the end of the conversation tonight with Mike, started to talk about, physics and the connection of everything. And Egypt once again is brought up. And I can't let this, it hasn't escaped my mind yet. In that, with all of the research that I've done into Egypt over the years, I've done presentations, I've done shows on the pyramids and everything else. I've done this a lot, and when you do as much research as I have done, you constantly go back and think about, wait a minute. If Egypt, not only Egypt, but ancient Sumer too, as well in Mesopotamia, but got that far advanced and got to where they were, what happened? Why, if things would have continued, we should have flown to the moon by 500 BC. And I'm not exaggerating about this, because right after that, going into 400 AD, 500, Rome falls, they pull out of Great Britain, retreat, come back, and all of that ended. And we fell into the Dark Ages, where we've got 300, 400, 500, 600 years of missing history. And nothing documented. People forgot how to write. The only historians going through that entire period were priests, and they knew how to read and write, and but that the real part of it was just like gone. Everything just went dumb, and we call it the Dark Ages for a lot of different reasons. And you back up from that, where we just had amnesia, and suddenly everything stopped. And if you back up 2,000 years before that, 2,000 years, everything was figured out. And I'm talking about 1500 BC, 2000 BC. Everything was figured out. And why, if things would have continued to march on, and I'm talking about the math, sciences, social, government, democracies, education, alchemy, and everything that was happening, it just stopped. And you go to Egypt and you look around and you see the construction, the knowledge, the languages, the organization, the vastness of it all. It's not one temple. It's not that. No, they are everywhere. The temples are everywhere. The pyramids are everywhere. And you see this organized culture established upright, and what happened? It's mind-blowing to me. And we move all the way up to today. When I say that we don't know nothing, that's the fascinating part, is that we know some stuff today, but we don't know the basics. And to me, when you go and you see a culture that was established like Egypt, they had it figured out. They truly did. They had it figured out. To have something going on 5,000 years ago. Now, it could be much older than that. It could be 20,000 years old. I don't know. Okay, but if we just go with the established numbers that are presented to us today, we're talking about 5,000 years ago, and everything was running. And you can't escape this. You go and you see it for yourself. Now, I'm not joking. So much has been said about the Great Pyramid. I've done so many shows on it. I've done so much research. You walk into the Grand Gallery and you look at that, and you're looking at something that is allegedly 5,000 years old. 5,000 years old. And you're looking at this. You're like, how is this possible? Well, it was possible because they had it all figured out. They had it all figured out. Engineering, astronomy, math, physics, knowledge. They had it all figured out. There's no way, there's no way that happens without having it all figured out. I'm losing my voice. I have done so much talking over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And my voice is going. It's going. It's going to disappear. Okay. Let's take a phone call so I can save my voice. 818-921-6929 or 323-275-9695. Let's go. If not, I'll just end the show now. Because I've got no voice. So I'll do a countdown. Let's see if I can. Yeah, hot tea. I'm going to take a break and go make some hot tea with lemon. I'm losing my voice. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap. Race, run some commercials. do something, but I don't think I can make it. I don't think it's possible. I tried. I got to save my voice for tomorrow night. It's Fader night. It's open lines all night long. I want to thank Mike Ricksecker. I'm not going to make it through the credits. Fade to Black is produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, G. Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black of the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll see everybody tomorrow night for Fader night. Until then, be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.